you search that as financial therapy in the US, it's pretty big now. So they have regulation, they have certification process. It's basically financial professional and a psychotherapist together become a financial therapist.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Watch Me Win. At the expense of sounding cringe, we're an army of 7,000 followers now. And today we have Yvonne here with us. Quick introduction on my end. I was just part of my usual Toastmasters meeting where she was over as a guest at Horizon Toastmasters. So, without further ado, Yvonne, over to you. Um, let us know about yourself, a quick introduction, and also like what brought you over at Horizon Toastmasters.
Of course, it was really wonderful meeting you there. Honestly, I was so impressed about your three takeaways. So it resonated so much about me too, like resonated so much with me too. So I came from China about almost 20 years ago. And what you said about getting lost and exploring and moving forward, I was like, that was me when I came to Canada. I was so lost. I had no idea where to go. And I was literally lost when I landed in the airport because I lost my two suitcases. Pretty much that suitcases packed everything I had from China. So just imagine I was like so anxious and in panic when my friend picked me up. So that's how my Canadian adventure started. And so, yeah, so and then right after I settled in and I came here for school, right? So went back to school. I did, my bachelor degree in finance and accounting. And after I finished that, I went to work for ING as a mortgage and association and a treasury analyst. From there, I moved to Scotiabank. So it was like very now every time when people ask me to introduce about myself, I'm like, how do I do that? Like, how do I unpack my whole life within just a minute or two? So yeah, so then I moved to Scotiabank. Then I worked there for almost 10 years. You can see that from my LinkedIn profile, and pretty much in risk management area. And that is my official kind of resume. You can see that pretty much from a public place everywhere. But I also have like, I believe that everybody has like unofficial resume, right? Something that you wouldn't show on a public place. So I'm a mother and I'm a very passionate about cooking, gardening, and outdoor and traveling and reading. So I just, remember like you had three takeaways, right? And then it's very interesting because brain actually any kind of speech, and then our brain can pretty much retain a 5% of like what you said. It's one thing about you said and a general impression about you. So I'm really hoping that today I'm gonna be on the good side of the 5% there. So okay.
Thank you for that quick introduction. And yes, you're absolutely right on that unofficial resume thing because on paper, on LinkedIn, even I'm a sales professional, right? I work at a software company. We sell market research software. But on my unofficial resume, I'm trying to get better at public speaking. That's where we met. I'm trying to run a YouTube channel and I'm trying to advocate for mental health while I'm doing all these things. So that is sort of my unofficial resume. And I should mention at the get-go that our target audience, like people who follow me, these are a mixture of newcomers into Canada or immigrations who have moved out of their home country to anywhere else in the world. So we have those people, then we have a lot of sales people from BDRs to account executives to directors and VPs. And then obviously we have mental health advocates for myself. Why I named it Watch Me Win is to document how I plan on winning and also share my shortcomings as opposed to people who only share their successes so that it seems more realistic. I think the world is lacking more authenticity these days. Everyone's just sharing their wins, not the whole journey. And that sort of gives a wrong impression, right? Because it's not actually that way. We have a long journey
100%.
that we take. Yeah, we have a long journey that we take until we reach to the point that we actually win. Since you touched up upon Scotiabank, let's start from there. If you can recall your application process again for newcomers, how was it like? What prompted your interest? And then when you actually joined the company, how was your overall experience there?
I absolutely agree, like 100% agree with what you said. Like there's just so much out there. Everybody tells you you can make $1,000, you can make $10,000 within a week, or it's just too much. And everybody's trying to tell you a narrative, like a short narrative, like how they make money quick, how they become so successful overnight. That's really wrong. That creates so much anxiety for people. That's why we're having young people now having anxiety. Look at me. I'm like, I don't have those. I'll just tell you my journey there. It was not definitely not smooth journey, but it was help along the way. So I'll tell like because as an immigrant and ourselves, we're facing so many challenges. Probably know language barrier, culture shock, and you're leaving your entire community behind, right? So you don't have any board, you don't have like a support system anymore, the one that you have, right? So what I did was like when I was at ING, I think I spot like or I kind of really know, okay, I need my sponsors. I need my mentors. I kind of like look for those people in my life or at my work who will be the advocate or who will be the sponsors for me. So then you might be surprised because over time I used to be a career coach too. I coach a lot of university graduates and I coach them on career and how to break into financial industry. And a lot of people think that they need to really connect with someone more higher in terms of the career, like, like title and all that. My career journey, I was helped so much by my peers. And I find working really well, be very nice, and in working, show your work ethics with your peers sometimes is more important than because naturally you will work well, right? You will try to perform in front of your managers, right? Because that's our like because you this is authority. But we tend to underestimate your ability, like underestimate the power of your peers because we think, oh, these are just our peers and they're not going to affect your career. But I think the opposite. I always try to work really well with my peers. So the way that I moved over time, and it's really helped by my peers because they liked how I work with them, how like I really put myself out there and how I help them. So every time when they move, so when I moved to Scotiabank, and it was after my mat leave because ING was purchased by Scotiabank, but my position was not there. I did not have a position. Basically, I left the company ING after the mat leave, and one person, one of the peers that I used to work with tightly, and she's like, okay, let me know when you come back because I work so well with her. She's like, let me know when you come back because she got a job at a Scotiabank, and then she started advocating for me. So she knew the VP there very well, and then she's like, "Let me connect you with the VP," and the VP had a little bit impression about me, but he never really worked with me. But because he trusts this person, and of course, right? So it's not like I went through the interviews, and it's really funny actually. Basically, he created this position, like or by chance, and that's how I got the positions, right? From there, because I work for him and I show my work ethics. And then from there, and also like work with peers. And every time when the peers move, and then I kind of had all those connections with them. So one time I got an offer from RBC, even though I did not go because it was actually recommended by one of my peers again. So I just want to tell everybody, who who came to Canada, I think, I need to perform really well in front of my manager in order for me to, like move up. You might be surprised it's actually a lot of times because you don't really work that much, right? So your manager might just stay on the same position. So that's how I got into Scotiabank.
Amazing. And thanks for sharing that. And I did a little overview of your LinkedIn profile. I saw that you were very successful, I would say, at Scotiabank. And if I'm not wrong, you had about five promotions over the course of your experience over there. So, talk to us a little about what made you move from Scotiabank into doing your own thing.
Oh my gosh, that's not overnight. you can see that I worked there for almost 10 years, right? So I work in banking industry. I completely created what I did in China. So I was working in China too. And I came here and it did something really new. So this is not a new to me. I basically quit everything and restarted everything. So it was not overnight. Okay, I wake up and I decided to do my own thing. It was over time, something changed in my life, right? I went through a lot of life transitions in my life. I had a kid, become a single mother, and I was divorced. And then facing all the challenges in a workplace, the challenge including, you want to move up. It's not like you can, but I'm like, okay, I keep asking myself, do I really want to have that type of life for the rest of my life? And it's really good. The company, it depends on who you work for and what you're working on. And, to be honest, I just got to the point. It's like I really face the challenge of moving up, or, where do I go? Like I was really confused. So then I started a small business about just 3 years ago. And then I was online tutoring, right? So basically I was matching a lot of English teachers with someone who needed English tutoring or math and something like that. And I become really interested in coaching and talking to the parents. And then it's like a part of like what you do, right? Sales, right? You need to sell your product, you need to sell yourself and your services, and why people need to buy. And I become really like I like enjoying the process created from 0 to 1, right? Basically, you had no idea. I had no platform, no students, and no teachers, and no clients. Where do I get them? So I had an idea. So that's how I started. I'm like, okay, and then I started having one student, two students, until I have like 100 students, and until I have like more like 10 teachers working for me, right? So managing this in between. So you become a more like a manager. I really enjoying that flexibility, and I got a lot of feedback from the teachers that they love how I work because I give them so much space. And I like that at work too. And then I become it used to be like I really like it. It's just the framework, okay, structure. You come in, you know what to expect, and then you do whatever you're doing, you get paid, you go. So, but then, like we are humans, we want the freedom to create, right? So then I had a taste of like you can have the freedom to create, and every day I just become so bored at work. So I keep looking for something different at work to do. But then work is work, and you have to deliver whatever people ask you. If you want to do more, and if people are really not interested in what you're doing, and then you become defeated in a sense, right? So I don't want to be like, oh, okay, so my work it's all good. And at this time, and so then I switched the career from, you can see that from market risk to credit risk. So then that was a very pivotal moment for me because it was really challenging. You're facing pretty much restarted all over. And it's not your just your career, right? Because you need to start almost like convincing people that are good enough. This is when I realized that a lot of things that I haven't worked through, like my emotions, my thinking, my behaviors. Why do I feel that way? So I had a lot of trouble. I started really good. For 4 months, I was really happy there until I met someone. This is why something that I want to talk to you about, maybe in a future episode. It's like I always thought, like having good mentors and sponsors will really help you to grow. But as a matter of fact, it's those challenging colleagues and the difficult people that you work with actually taught you so much. It was so stressful because, I got to the point of because you just face, like the confrontation, people trying to put you down and then trying to make you feel like so small or you feel small. So that's when I really realized that there's so much about me I need to really discover. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I love the freedom to create. Why don't I just take a time? I'm comfortable at this point. This is another topic, right? That's why we need to say yes to money sometimes. And there's just so much I want to tell you, but for because of time, and I just want to say that that was a pivot moment. I'm like, okay, you know what? I literally said it to myself. I don't want to be like, okay, just screw this. And I'm just going to take this 5 years to really challenge myself to go study in a different field because I already became really interested in psychology. I really want to know why do I have this? I went through a lot of therapy myself too because of childhood trauma. We came from a different background, work in a different industry and all that, right? There's so much we need to work through and make sure that we're taking care. And so that we have the resilience, inner strength to face more challenges, right? So that's when I decided, okay, you know what, it's time for me to really step out and then do something different. And then maybe that's the time for me to grow.
You're absolutely right in saying that it does not happen overnight, right? I just think, and it might be my own perspective, that our entire life, it's just trial and error. You just do different things and then pay attention to what's working out, do more of that, ignore what's not working out, unlearn that, and that's what guides you. Because including myself, for the longest time, I had no idea, where I am headed in life. What do I like doing? I used to read about people who love what they do, and then work does not feel like work, and I would be like, this absolute bullshit. It's not reality. But then my own version of it is it's just trial and error. So thank you for sharing that with us. Now, your headline says aspiring financial therapist. I've heard of a talk therapist. I have heard of therapy through medication. It's actually the first time I'm hearing financial therapist. What is it?
That's a really good question. A lot of people ask me whenever I go to network. Financial therapist, if you search that as financial therapy in the US, it's pretty big now. So they have regulation, they have certification process. It's basically financial professional and a psychotherapist together become a financial therapist. So essentially, they're integrating these two fields together to work with people with money and mental health issues. So that's why this is the next one that's why I venture into my own business because I see the big gap. There's so much of talk about your mental health, but underlying you need to also have financial wellness to support your well-being, right? So physically, emotionally, you can talk about all those emotions and then worked it out, but coming back to the reality, do you have the financial means to support the long term? Like, not to mention, talk therapy is so expensive too. Not many people can afford it, right? So that's why I really want to have these two together. Really, not only you can have the emotional muscle to really handle a lot of emotional stress or mental health stress, right? So, but also, I want to also advocate for be okay with money. This is something that I'm going to take on a lot too, because I was going to ask you a question before you asked me. So if I ask you, and if you, okay, just close your eyes and think about how you feel when you have money, right? I want you to use your upper body and your hands, do a gesture to show me how you feel, because I don't know how you feel now, right? But show me how you feel when you picture the money coming to you. Because I did this exercise with a lot of people, and then I see different move using your hands, using your upper body to show me.
Are my eyes still closed or
Yeah, with your eyes closed. Just picture how you feel about it when you picture the money coming. What do you feel? I'll tell you what happened there. See, like you're dancing, but at the same time you're closing. I feel like this is subconsciously like we have a lot of stigma about money, right? So like me, I grew up no, I did not come from a wealthy family, but good thing that I studied the finance, right? I see how money played and I see transactions like 50 billion, millions of transactions in and out, right? So and I was like, and I read a lot about capitalism and how the capital is played. If you see how BlackRock is started, right? They're leveraging the money, and then when people think about average people like us, when we think about money, the first thing is like, oh, I don't deserve it. It's like, okay, money, is that a really good thing? If I just tell money, come, it's like not many people would do that. It's like such a very not nice thing to have, right? So if you're if your assumption or subconsciously thinking money is so hard to get, right? I have to work really hard, but I don't deserve it because look at my parents, they're poor, or looking at my peers, they're not so much, right? Look at people with same degree and whatever, this is how much they're making. This is driving our behaviors, right? The other one is the stigma about shame, right? So are you ashamed of having money? Are you like closed in, right? So many people just like, oh, okay. It's just like so uncomfortable when I ask someone to do something about it, right? Not many people do like, just come, right? So you have to say yes to this. That's what I mean. Like, finance, like mental health is all great because I'm on crisis line and helping people, right? So I see so much mental health issues, right? But at the same time, underlying, it's because they don't know where to get this, right? How do I go from here? So it's financial wellness issue too, right? If they have the money, if they have the financial means, and you can see the life, it can be different. They have, they even more aware, okay, there are more things I can do to help myself mentally, right? So this is what I mean. This is why I want to do this.
Trust me, like I had no idea. I was having all happy feelings, but yes, I was close. I should have been more open to receiving it. And you can hate money all you want. Money does not buy happiness. Okay, but it buys therapy, it buys medication, it pays your rent, it buys you vacations. So I think,
Yeah, that's what I said. Okay,
yeah,
I get it. Money is not going to buy you everything, but let's have it at first. Then you would decide on how you want to do it, right? So you can buy happiness or not. It's up to
yeah,
you, like I said.
yeah. So this very famous actor, I was watching his interview. He said that I really urge you to become successful and make money before becoming a philosopher. And it hit me really hard because before I got into doing these podcasts and talking about, things that help me win, I used to do a lot of preaching, right? People should do this, that. Um, I realized this. No one likes a preacher. No one does. If you want to inspire someone, show them the way by doing it yourself. And which is why I connect to what this actor said that when you're successful, when you have made a lot of money, no matter what you say, you'll say the most basic thing, but we'll be like, "Oh, that's so inspiring." So, that is like there is so much reality
Exactly.
to it. Yeah. Um, Yvonne, thank you so much for your time today. Obviously, I want to be mindful of your time, but also like I am I am here left with so much more, like, so many more things that I want to talk about. And I'm sure like people who watch this video, they can let us know as well if we should do a part two, if they would be interested, and what exactly do they want to hear more about. Like, I would definitely want to deep dive into financial therapy and all the aspects related to it. But for today, let's say that someone's watching this video and they get inspired and they want to reach out to you and they want to have a chat with you. What is the best medium or what are the best mediums to reach out to you?
Absolutely. Well, I can be reached out at on LinkedIn. So my name is right there, Yvonne Zhu. So you can search me on it. And then I also have aspiring financial therapist because I'm pursuing psychotherapy. So once I get it, and I will be officially calling myself financial therapist. But right now it's aspiring. Yeah, so thank you so much. Yeah, I can be reached on LinkedIn or checking on my website. It's called FinPsych Health. Basically, it's a finance. You have fintech, right? So we have FinPsych, which is the finance. First three letters and psychealth.com. And, before we wrap it up, I really just want to say, like, I want everybody kind of take away three things. This is my life philosophy. It's always guided me. It's my guiding principle. So three things I want everybody to really pay attention, right? So these are the three key, elements for life growth. The first one is ability of like self-awareness, aware, like recognize your emotions, because a lot of times, we're angry, we're all that, but underlying it's all messages and telling you something, right? So why I'm angry, instead of like, okay, I shouldn't feel angry or I shouldn't feel upset. This is what I learned during my last job, right? Because I had so much anger towards someone who's giving me so much trouble. Whatever I do was wrong. And I was just upset. I did not even have the courage to say anything. It taught me so much about the awareness. You need to be aware instead of suppress. That's what's causing a lot of mental health because so many people are suppressed. They don't know where to go. All this emotion are being built up inside. Every time you have emotions, make sure that you really recognize, acknowledge, and sit with it. Why? What's triggering me? What's happening? What is my expectation? What do I expect other people? And what is my need? Do I need to be respect? What is that? The second one is really the courage to take responsibility because we tend to, like, let's say as an immigrant, in when I started it too, right? So, oh, I did not get this promotion is because you have discrimination. No, take responsibility for that. It's not because of external factor. Yeah, so there are responsibility, but these are not the things that you can control. Take responsibility for yourself, and is there something else you can do? I'm not saying that, okay, if you get abused and bullied, that you can just, okay, it's all my fault. That's not right either, right? So I'm just saying, okay, like you said, explore and move forward. Find the solutions, right? Find something that you actually can work on and control. The last one is something to do with the money, the desire for self actualization. So I want everybody to have those, having the first two, yeah, great. And you're going to be peaceful. You're going to be really good and then such a good worker and you're responsible for yourself. But in the end, you need to have a desire for self actualization, and it's okay to want have money and a financial resource in your life. That's what I want to tell people.
What an amazing way you want to end this conversation. And because I'm big on note taking, let me repeat it. Ability of self-awareness, courage to take responsibility, and desire for self-actualization. I absolutely love key takeaways because no matter if you were paying attention to our entire conversation or not, if you take away only those three things, I think it would be well worth your time. So with that, Yvonne, good luck with getting official. I'll be reaching out to you soon for sure for part two of this. But for the time that you were able to lend to me today, thank you for that.
You're very welcome. It's very nice chatting with you too.
Likewise. All right, take care.